Back on?
I believe so.
Sorry folks, some technical difficulties.
Yeah, you're on.
Beautiful, thanks mate. Bye. Alright, sorry about that guys, not sure what happened there. I think we may have some connectivity issues, but hopefully we're okay for the rest of the walk here. Not sure where it cut out, but just introducing myself, Chris from Localing Private Tours. I've been with Localing for a good couple of years now, working very closely with Dan and Dean and the office team, Iz and Elise, and all of our wonderful, engaged and very, very fun hosts. Localing provides luxury private tours for people who are interested in visitors checking out Melbourne and Victoria, regional Victoria, South Australia in Adelaide, and down in Tassie and Hobart there. I'm taking on a bit of a walk today down in Sorrento and Portsea. It's a beautiful, beautiful walk called the Millionaire's Walk. We've just started on the walk now. I'm sort of only 50 or so metres in, and already you can see the beautiful, beautiful bay here. So I'm not sure if you heard before my introduction to the bay, but we're sitting on Port Phillip Bay here. This is the bay that Melbourne sits on. Melbourne is 100 kilometres in that direction, across the bay there. It takes us about an hour to get down to the Mornington Peninsula. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous region, full of wineries, sculpture gardens, cellar doors. There's over 100 cellar doors actually, and 200 wineries throughout the region. And plenty to do with the family down here as well. Lots of adventure parks and playgrounds. Lots of cider houses. Shout out to the guys at Mock, which I believe is one of the best cider houses that you'll find in Victoria. Morning. We also got some amazing wildlife down here. So the Moonlit Sanctuary is a gorgeous, gorgeous sanctuary that's on the way down to the Mornington Peninsula. And we absolutely love it because it's just an amazing way to interact with Australia's native animals. You can hand feed koalas and kangaroos and hold birds and meet a Tassie devil, and it's just super, super fun. So we've started this walk down here now. You can see one of the first houses behind me. This gorgeous, gorgeous sandstone house. I think you probably missed what I was talking about before, but this walk is really interesting because you're literally walking in the backyard of these locals' houses. And so you've got the gorgeous path down to the beautiful beach down here. And you can see all of their private little jetties. Now they don't own the beach, but they do own the jetties, obviously. And they own this bit of land right here, but they don't own the path that I'm walking on. This is public land, the path that I'm walking on here. So a bit of an interesting sort of insight, I guess, into certainly some of the wealthier houses in Victoria, properties. We'll see some more as we walk along here, but I would certainly say that some of these properties and houses are the wealthiest in Victoria. It's sort of owned by a who's who of in sort of the local tech entrepreneurs from the 90s, and a lot of property developers have a lot of properties down here. So you can see behind me, really, really gorgeous coastline. Now it is the bay, not the coast. We are on a peninsula. So fence here. We are on a peninsula, so to my left, if I was to get in the car and just drive a few minutes, we would get to the surf coast. And as you can see on my right hand side, there's the bay there. So it's a real playground for the rich and famous down here, especially in this area where I am right here, Sorrento and Portsea. I absolutely love it. I've been coming down here myself since I was 2 or 3. My family history actually goes back to the 1960s or so, when both my parents were camping down here on the foreshore. When I say the foreshore, if you sort of look over my right shoulder there, you can see the bit of land that stretches out along the way. This is the what we call the foreshore. There's a whole heap of camping that takes place along the foreshore. It goes for about 30 kilometres or so. And my mum and dad were camping themselves when they were quite young, teenagers, and they were camping in a camping ground just along the foreshore there in a little suburb called Rye, which Dan Platt is obviously very familiar with. And that's where mum and dad met, interestingly enough. And they were camping down there with each of their own families, and mum's family was in a big tent that my grandpa actually put together. He was a tall man, so he made it quite tall, and he put together the cabinetry and the bed, and there's an old fridge that they had there, and they set it up in Rye every year over the Christmas holidays. This was set up for about 6 weeks. You'd go down, and they would go down and with the same families every year and enjoy that time down there. That's where mum and dad met. That's where they had their first kiss, which is quite funny, right on a boat shed. Every single time we drive past that, they point it out, which is always a laugh for my brother and I. Yeah, obviously very, very fond memories for mum and dad down here, and certainly very fond memories for me, because mum and dad started bringing us, my brother and I, down here, and we camped at a site in Macrae, which is just a little bit further along the coast there, along the bay. So we've been camping there since I was 2 or 3. We've had the same site there. You can renew the site before anyone else gets access to it. We set up the exact same tent actually that my grandpa put together. It's like one of those sort of mash style tents. And yeah, so I've spent 6 weeks every year down there from when I was 2 or 3 until I was about 18 when I started working. But really, really fantastic memories down in this area. And I sort of to top this area off, I guess I just sort of recently got engaged at one of the wineries down here to my lovely partner Louise, who's maybe watching. Hi if you are. But yeah, some really special occasions for me down here. Really fantastic memories. We'll continue on. You see this gorgeous homestead here behind me, which is one of the original homesteads in this area. We'll talk a little bit more about the history and the beginnings of this particular area, which has some unique and interesting history even before Melbourne was colonised, which is quite cool. So we'll continue along here. Another gate. So if you're just joining in, Chris here from Localing Private Tours, running a live and exclusive tour for you from the Mornington Peninsula, specifically Sorrento and Portsea. So this Millionaire's Walk is actually a small part of a Sorrento to Portsea artist trail. So if you do come along to, if you are into art, you can come along here, and there's about 12 paintings that they've got along the way here that you can have a look at. There's 12 along the way, but I think on the Millionaire's Walk there's only four of those. But I'll just climb up this hill. Get a nice, really nice view of the bay from up here. It's actually a bit warm now. Here we go. Gorgeous. So as I was saying, we come down every year. Often visit a lot of the wineries. A couple of my favourites, I guess, Polperro, Point Leo Estate, which is quite a large winery. It has a really high quality sculpture garden attached to it, which you can walk around. But Polperro is a gorgeous, slightly smaller winery. Favourite thing to do is sit under the gum trees that they've got there, looking over the valley, the vineyards, and just sip on a bottle of Pinot. The winery region is a cool climate winery region, actually maritime to be specific. So Pinots and Chardonnay is what it's all about here. Similar, not exactly the same, but similar to the Yarra Valley. Check out some of these smaller but still beautiful little houses here behind me. I actually much prefer this region to the Yarra Valley, mostly because of the variety that it offers of offerings down here. This is one of the Artists Trail. Make sure you can have a look at that. One of the Artists Trail pieces here by Arthur Streeton. Yeah, I was saying mostly because of the variety that is on offer down here. As I said before, there's wildlife, there's coastal walks. You can be on the surf coast side, go for a surf or a paddle, or you can be on the bay side here, which is a little more calm. It's a little rough today because of the wind, but typically so really good location for families. Very safe swimming. Only a few shark sightings this time. Quite a funny story when I always laugh about it with my family when we were all swimming down at Macrae there when probably 15 years old or so. A shark every like once or twice every day, a shark plane sort of goes over the waters just to make sure that there's no sharks, and one started circling a few hundred meters out from basically right in front of where we were. We were in the water, but we were about ankle deep, just above ankle deep, and when Mum's pretty protective, when she saw the plane circling, she got out of her seat and just screamed at us, "Get out of the water!" And we just looked at her. We're about 10 meters offshore. Like I said, in shin deep water, and we just thought that was pretty bloody funny. How's this for a backyard? The house is all the way out the back there. You can barely see it, but not a bad lawn. Same one next to us here. Shout out to all the nurses actually too. Today is International Nurse. Obviously their role is important every day, but extra important during these crazy times. So shout out to all you, any nurses watching. I was going to tell a story. I've been pretty accident prone in my time, and actually down here was the first time I broke a bone. Broke my bunks that we slept on when we were young in the tent. And we used to play this game where my brother and my cousins, we would be 2 people on the bottom bunk and 1 on the top, and you'd kick the person on the top bunk, and the person would go up and down, up and down. And I was on the top, and my brother and my cousin kicked me pretty hard, and I went up, across and down, and landed on a box. Or my arm landed on a box, and both snapped. So yeah, shout out to all the nurses. How's this other property down here? It's absolutely gorgeous. So the history of the area is a bit of a unique one. Melbourne, as you may or may not know, was